So I have a 400 level course at the University of Toronto, Mississauga right now called Wild Nights, Sleep, Evolution, and Human Performance in the 21st Century. And so it taps into all these things we're talking about. But all my students right now are wearing Oura rings, and I'm having them do like basically, they're basically creating their own scientific data set via these Oura rings, in which they will test hypotheses at the end of the semester. But right now, there is a cohort that's going through the candlelight study. And so this candlelight challenge is like the experiment. It's sort of a way to help and train them to the things that could possibly help improve their sleep and their wellness through their sleep. And so in the candlelight challenge, there are 3 pillars to this challenge. You've got sleep hygiene, you've got light hygiene, and then you have circadian amplification. And so under the sleep hygiene, I have them really just take a very careful, close look at what their sleeping nest is like. Like, what's your immediate environment like? Do you have a bright LCD light, like right here? Do you have your cell phone immediately within touch, or maybe even on your bed? Do you have a LCD screen or computer screen in the room? When you read, is it on an e-reader? So I have them take stock of that. And then what is your ritual before bed? Do you even have a ritual before bed? Do you have something to cue into your body? All right, now we're gonna start winding down after a day. So I have them take stock of that environment, and then I have them double down on being extremely conscious of lights and temperature. So, you know, if you're indoors, you're going to be your light intake and your body's perception of temperature will not oscillate more than 2 degrees, you know, at all. So when you're outside, it's an order of magnitude more oscillation than that. So I really encourage students to get out. If you're gonna eat lunch outside when there's all this full spectrum light, blue wave light, and then as soon as you get home and the sun goes down, that's when you bring out the candlelight, right? Or if it's not a candlelight specifically, it's something like a warm, you know, like really low Kelvin lamp that's USB charged. I actually hand these out in class. I hand out blue wave blocking glasses for that cohort. And so the idea is to completely minimize exposure to blue wave light, and then an hour before bed, no LCD screens at all. And then it's the last pillar there is that circadian amplification, and that's consistency, consistency, consistency. Give your rhythm, give all the myriad of clocks in your body, of which there are almost a dozen, right? Give them something to hold their hat onto. Like, let them know that there's going to be a consistent rhythm. So your SCN is the master circadian clock, right? The suprachiasmatic nucleus, and it's through your retina, it's tracking the light in your environment, and once it stops getting blue wave light, it's going to start cueing into let's produce melatonin. This is the primary hormone that regulates your sleep-wake activity. And so if you're disrupting that with light that's blue wave light, you're totally throwing a wrench into your circadian system, and you're undercutting your ability to get that good sleep, right? So if your circadian rhythm's off, sleep is always going to be a challenge. That's why I think of it as more of the first order principle, right? Handle your circadian rhythm first, and then sleep. So consistency is really key, and then think of other functions like alimentary function, like consumption, huge. Your metabolism is so cued in to your circadian rhythm. Producing insulin, right? This is done on a beautiful circadian rhythm in a healthy individual. So the worst possible thing you could do is, when you have extremely low levels of insulin, is get that midnight snack of a piece of cake, like sugar. Like, you're absolutely, you might as well just turn on all the lights in your environment, right? And just stop all processes. It's going to throw a big wrench into the system. And so those are the kind of the immediate behavioral interventions that they go through, and then they get to actually track their sleep through the Oura ring, which is a pretty cool biometric device that can track total sleep time very accurately. The feedback I'm getting, though, is that it's fundamentally giving them insight. At the very least, they're getting insight into themselves and into their body and into the physiological processes that sort of drive them, and they're now much more aware of their chronotype, right? They didn't know whether they were an evening person or an owl person before taking like a standardized survey, right? And then seeing what their actual rhythm looked like by measuring it. So that's elevating it to someone's awareness is key. But then I would say at least 2 or 3 students. It's a 400 level class, so we're talking 20 students. So I'd say a good 10%, 5-10% will send emails after the fact saying that they still stick to this, and it's improved their cognition, it's improved their physical performance, and a host of other benefits.